The Deathworld Girl cracked her knuckles. 6 Apex Cadets froze before anyone moved. Arbitration File 11, GRA 00093 has been accessed 4,116 times and never successfully classified. What she did to 6 apex predators in 40 minutes, I still don't know what to call it. 3 voices will tell it. Mine, the pack leader's, and hers. Hers mostly in fragments because that is how she spoke, in pieces, in names. 6 Catherine were on the floor. Not from blows. Not from weapons. From the weight of 437 grief signatures their pack bond had absorbed without asking, and now could not put down. The biometric floor of the resonance court had run out of color assignments. Yale Cass stood in the center of the hexagonal formation that no longer existed. Her left hand was open for the first time. A dried seed pod sat in her palm, cracked along its seam, and the sealed chamber smelled like wet ground from a world that was already ash. The kind of scent your lungs recognize before your memory does. She did not look triumphant. She looked the way a person looks after finishing a task they have done every night for 11 months. What she did to 6 apex predators in 40 minutes, I still don't know what to call it. 40 minutes earlier, the floor had read 6 synchronized Catherine heartbeats and 1 human pulse it could not calibrate. The resonance court sat on neutral station. The floor read biometric data in real time and projected it as ambient light. When the 6 Catherine filed in, the light went steady amber. Their pack bond ran at 99.3% harmonic sync. The betting consensus among observing delegations settled at 0 chance for the human. No threat display. No aggression markers. No fear. That was the wrong detail. Not from the Catherine. From her. Yale Cass entered alone. No escort. No delegation. She was 1.6 meters tall and carried nothing visible except a closed left fist. Her resting pulse registered below the sensor's calibrated minimum. The system flagged it as a hardware error, ran the check twice, then logged the anomaly with no classification. The senior adjudicator, Goss Velen, tried to read Yale's emotional frequency on entry, a habit she performed without thinking. Her resonance membranes returned static. She tapped them twice. They were not malfunctioning. When Yale passed my station, I caught a scent from her closed hand. Mineral soil, faintly sweet, smelled like a place, not a person. In 47 prior arbitrations, no representative had survived longer than 11 seconds against a full Catherine sync pack. 6 minds. 1 reflex. No species had ever requested a second arbitration. Appeals were technically available. Nobody appealed. Yale's file listed 1 entry under relevant background. Colony designation. Athena Reach. Status. Dissolved. Rathuna arranged his cohort in standard hexagonal formation. His bond read the human. No adrenaline. No aggression. No fear. This should have meant submission. It did not feel like submission. He pressed deeper. He found something with no name in his language. A frequency so flat and continuous that the bond could not find its edge. Goss Velen called the arbitration to order. Yale opened her mouth. She did not address the tribunal or the pack. She said, Corin Pale, 31, agricultural engineer, row 9, plot 6. The bond classified it as a non-combat vocalization. But the bond was involuntary empathic absorption. Could not dismiss the emotional weight underneath the words. That weight had no protocol. Flat. Rehearsed. Worn smooth by repetition. Not fresh grief. Set grief. Grief with grooves in it. The bond absorbed it and found no way out. Tasani Abra, 44, Water Systems, Building 3, North Quarter. She said a name. She said another. She did not stop. Rathuna ordered a dominance pulse. All 6 Catherines stepped forward in unison, their cranial ridges flaring. It had broken 47 representatives. Yale's heartbeat did not shift. The bond read her again and found the same thing. A rhythm in a time signature it had never encountered. Music that never resolved. Name after name, each one carrying specific weight, not generic sorrow, particular absence. What a person had eaten. Where they had stood. The sound of a specific door. The bond was built to share combat data across 6 mines. It was now sharing grief portraits at 6 per minute, with no outlet and no way to stop. Leo Cass, age 9, enrolled in primary education. My brother's son. The floor registered biometric inversion. Catherine aggregate stress, 8.7 and climbing. Human, 0.9 and flat. Athena Reach was destroyed in a Catherine expansion action 11 months before this arbitration. 437 civilian casualties. 1 survivor. No military engagement. The colony had no defense perimeter. No weapons. It had a harvest schedule. The action was reclassified from expansion protocol to administrative error. 9 weeks later, the reclassification was not made public. Rathuna felt name 46 land in the bond. Then 47. His left flank anchor lost step by a quarter second. The bond tried to process grief the way it processed combat. Mirror it. Overpower it. Move on. Grief has no peak. It does not tire. It continues at the same flat cadence, and the bond keeps absorbing because absorption is involuntary. Kosni Dren, 52 archive clerk. She pressed flowers in transit manifests. Rathuna's cranial ridge went gray. 4 of the 6 were on one knee. The bond was carrying over 200 grief portraits across 6 mines, with no protocol to discharge any of them. Rathuna broke formation. He tried to read the human one-on-one, to find an edge, something to push against. He met her eyes. She was not looking at him. He was the room she was speaking in. The dead were the audience. Yale shifted her grip on the seed pod, the first small movement of her closed fist in 40 minutes. Then she said the last name. Yale Cass, 28, Logistics Coordinator. Colony designation. Survivor. A pause. That last one is still pending. 6 minutes of silence. Not quiet. The specific absence of sound in a room built to measure dominance. The floor held its pale, unclassified color and did not cycle. Grief. Sustained grief. Grief with a name attached to every second of it. Rathuna was on both knees. His cranial ridge was colorless. He was breathing in the cadence Yale had used, slow even with the pause between each name, and he did not know he was doing it. His bond, shattered, was trying to reform around the only data all 6 mines now shared. 437 people. None of them had ever met. Each distinct. Each specific. Each without exit. Yale's left hand was open. The seed pod sat cracked in her palm, and the scent of Athener soil filled the chamber. Mineral. Sweet. A world that existed now only in a dried hull, and in the lungs of 6 predators who would carry it without knowing what it was. The cost. She gave away the last private thing she owned. Every name. Every detail. Leo's enrollment. Kosni's pressed flowers. Corin's plot number. All of it fed into the bond. It worked. But the names were no longer hers alone. They lived in 6 minds that had never asked for them. My filing stylus had not moved. It was not that I had nothing to record. The Bravathi language had no word for what I had watched. And I was not willing to use the wrong one. The resonance court sat empty for 3 days. The floor's pale color did not reset for 9 hours. Goss Velen transmitted the tribunal ruling. Text only. Her resonance membranes, reviewed by medical staff, showed no damage. They had nothing neutral left to read. The Catherine pack was formally dissolved. Rathuna was debriefed 7 times over 3 months. Each report logged the same anomaly. He stopped mid-sentence, paused, and mouthed a name in a language he had never learned. I interviewed Yale once the day after. I asked if she had planned it. She said, I practiced every night not for this. I practiced so I could sleep. Turns out grief has a frequency. I didn't know that until your floor told me. Within 6 months, 14 predator-class species petitioned the Resonance Court for arbitration reform. The petitions did not name the human. They cited an unregulated emotional hazard with no precedent classification. Humanity was reclassified. Not upward, not into a higher threat tier. Sideways, into a category the archive created specifically. Unresolvable input. No threat model available. On her way out, Yale set the seed pod on the floor and did not look back. I sealed it in composite glass per archival protocol. The vault smelled like a thinner soil for 11 days. The junior recorder asked what the scent was. I said it was soil from a colony that no longer existed. She asked why it still smelled alive. I did not answer. It was the first question in 40 years I chose to leave without a file number. Rathuna still mouths the names. He has never met the dead. The file remains open.